On Monday, the 28th of July, 2025, you're listening to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez live on West Coast Radio, 92.1 on FM, www.wcr.gm, online, and always later on YouTube. Esam Baifal, our guest this morning. Yeah, you're itching to talk about the economy and corruption and all of that. How would you characterize the state of the Gambian economy right now? We have all these flowery, evaluations coming from the World Bank and the IMF and other, development partners, usually the ones who lend us money.
Peter, what is called window dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Window dressing is you make something appear as rosy and beautiful and good, when beyond the facade it lies a terrible situation.
It doesn't matter how
underbelly.
It doesn't matter how much you dress a monkey; it is still a monkey.
Yeah. You see, the underbelly of the Gambia's economy is rotten. Why do I say that?
Why does Esam Baifal say that?
The economy does not have a strong foundation to stand on. The economy depends on remittances from abroad. That is what is propping it, to be quite candid. And that's why they should be thanking my brothers and sisters in the diaspora.
Oh, they do?
No, they don't.
No. For the money that comes, yes, they applaud you for the money.
No, Peter. Whenever the president has the opportunity, he attacks them, especially when they criticize him.
For wanting to be involved in the politics of this country.
Yes, but... Yeah, so,
yeah, but for their money...
But really, for the fact that they bankroll Gambia, shouldn't they be hailed for that? Shouldn't they be encouraged? In fact, I had come up with a policy proposal at around last elections that the Gambia government should embrace the diaspora so that they can be funding projects in the Gambia. Oh, they copied that project.
Yeah, I was going to say they're trying to do that.
Yes, and they ran with. But you see, if you do not understand certain concepts and you just want to copy, that's why in this thing it's not copy and paste there. You have to go to the granular details and understand them and make them work. Their caravan, what happened? It failed woefully. How much money?
Did it?
Yes, well, they did something in Atlanta.
A caravan that included the governor of the central bank, the minister.
Have you had them announce how much money they have made?
Well, they usually, are secretive, on those matters.
My friend, this is a government that brags when it receives $4 million loan, say from Africa Development Bank. They brag about it. Oh, he received this amount of money. Why wouldn't they brag about this? It's probably because they did not generate anything. The Gambian people do not have confidence in this government to give them their money. They don't have confidence in this government. It is a government of Nafulo Pisir Pasar.
What's that?
Nafulo Pisir Pasar is just play with people's money. You spend it willy-nilly without prioritizing on the things that matter for the Gambian people. And it's quite evident. It's quite easy. Just look at the budget. It tells you the thinking of the government. If you would give President's office $1.087 billion, and you give Ministry of Tourism $58 million, and then you turn to the World Bank and say, give us $60 million for tourism, what are you telling us?
Yeah, but the Minister of Information clearly explained that. When you give $1 billion or even more to the office of the President, you are effectively giving also to the office of the Vice President. You're taking care of the State Guard. I'm telling you what Dr. Ismail Cisse tells me.
My brother, we have specialists in misinformation.
Oh.
It is spinning. Okay, how do they justify $100 million travel for the President? How do they justify $35 million?
Well, the President doesn't travel economy class like I do.
Okay, but Peter, you see, gone are those days when presidents from developing countries would just lavishly spend on president's travel. Look at what happens at the UN General Assembly. developed countries, they come and they travel as cheap as possible. They would never go economy. Their countries can afford it. The president has a jet. But even when they arrive in New York, they co-share vehicles. But look at us.
You've seen that yourself.
I have worked there, Peter. This is not something that anybody would tell me. I was in the heart of it, in the middle of it. Peter, Gambia served as president of UN Security Council on 2 occasions, and I was the coordinator. So I'll be at the thick of it. Everything would pass through me. So for people who come and sit here in this chair and lie about things that they don't know, well, this is something that I know, because I worked there. In the heart of it, there is no higher level in international diplomacy than United Nations Security Council. There's no higher honor than being president of the UN Security Council. I was there, so I know it, I have seen it. I have met presidents who would come to the UNGA with only a delegation of 5 people. Gambia, we will send 85 people to go shopping and gallivanting in Manhattan, looking at the skyscrapers. Hey, that is what we have. People, look, we spend the money on useless things. We should be, look.
Well, we should be worried then, because the next UNGA is just
September.
A few weeks away.
September.
Yes, absolutely.
About 6-7 weeks away.
Yeah.
But Peter,
and it took us almost a year to get, a figure of the number that went to the last, UNGA.
Do you know why? Because it is embarrassing for them to speak the truth. You take 85 people to UNGA to do what? When I was at the Gambia Permanent Mission in New York, when officers come, the first thing they would ask you is, may I borrow your sales tax-free card so that they can go shopping? It used to horrify me. The only person who would come at the time, who would come to the United Nations from the government of Jammeh at the time, and work from morning to night and would not bother anybody with anything, was Edward Singate.
Oh.
I wouldn't lie. I mean, everybody knows that I don't have the best relationship with Edward.
That's why I'm surprised.
But that is the truth. Besides Edward, the first person they would say, can I go shopping? But this government is even worse, because this government goes with massive delegation. They don't even know the issues that are discussed at the UNGA. To be quite candid, if you would ask 90% of the people in those delegations to come and tell you, okay, which committee dealt with budget, they will not tell you. If you ask them which committee deals with social issues, they can't tell you. If you would tell them what resolutions were passed, they cannot tell you. In fact, 95% of them would not have access to the United Nations building. Because...
Really?
Yes. Because to get into the UN building, you have to have accreditation.
So why take them in the first place?
They take them to... It's called patronage, political patronage. You give, in US politics, they call it pork. You give... comme ganaar yi xam nga foo jaari wisal leen su ko defee ganaar yi ñëw chop. It's the same strategy, it's the same mentality. Oh, wow. You have to give something to party supporters so that they can in turn give you back loyalty. If you take somebody who cannot even speak English, somebody who cannot write English, you take that person to the UN General Assembly. My friend, what are you telling us? What are you doing?
Well, they can go and speak French, or speak
okay.
Spanish.
If this person speaks no other language than Wolof, if this person speaks no other language than Wolof, is not proficient in any other language than Wolof or Mandinka, you take the person to the UN General Assembly. It's an insult to us. You are insulting our intelligence. You are telling us, you Gambians, we don't give a hoot about you people. We will spend your money any which way we want, and you cannot do a thing about it. Okay. That's why I call it Nafulo Pisir Pasar. Na NPP Mansa Kunda Mimbe Jang. Ibe Gambia le Kodole Tinyala. Ima Dundi. Cool to me, Lonko, Ibe Gambian people benefit. La. Among people nafa. It's not benefiting us. This is, let's put per diem in the pockets of the people, make them happy so that they can do what they want in the country.
Okay. What other ways are we, putting unnecessary strain on the economy?
My brother, it's the debt. It's the debt. It's the debt. The debt is too much.
Funding the UNGA could be one of those things that are, putting...
But indirectly, people don't know. Okay, if you look at the budget, I think the last budget there was a deficit of about $3 billion, the last budget. So, where do we get that $3 billion from? We borrow and we beg. So, by borrowing also, you are putting a further strain in the economy. But for me, really, the biggest strain on the economy for me is the elephant in the room.
Which is?
The waste. There is so much waste.
If what you just explained about the United Nations General Assembly, is to be taken, for what it is, that is one way of wastage.
If we have a APP Sobea government in this country, for the first time we will balance the budget.
You will?
We will balance the budget.
Well, they are claiming that this was a near balanced budget.
3 billion deficit. Out of a budget of 21 million. You're telling me it's near balanced budget? That is about 20-something% deficit. Close to 20%, about 18 or so. So you tell us that it's a balanced budget? No, it is not. They sit here, Peter, and try to bamboozle the Gambian people. With near beautiful English and try to think that they can hoodwink the people. Look, the Gambian people are awakened. They are watching, and that's why the popularity of this government is going down on a daily basis.
Then
they would deny it.
Mr. Barrow would not have been looking forward to 75% when he last won with only 53%.
Okay, all right. You know what?
What?
They come here and...
Actually, that was not said here.
Yes.
That was said, miles away from here.
Yes, but, it's just chest thumping and bragging, making people believe. This is make-believe. But, let's look at the empirical evidence. 2021, 53%. That's what they claim.
You don't believe 53%?
No, I don't. I have my reasons.
What would have been...
If the results were true and perfectly genuine, Barrow would not have scored 30%.
He would not?
Yes. Trust me. Oh, wow. But that is something for some other day. All right? That is something for some other day.
Just KIV it, in case we have some time
we will
towards the end of the program.
But it's true. You see, in Africa... it is difficult to win against incumbents, especially incumbents who will target and attack party agents and try to prevent their presence at the polling stations.
That happened the last time?
Yes, it happened.
Whose agents? Your agents?
My agents were attacked and dispersed completely. UDP also. I don't know whether they talk about it, but I know for certain that almost up to 50% of UDP agents were not at the polls when they closed.
Oh, wow.
And this country, if your agents are not present, kiss the election goodbye. You are going to lose massively. See? So, but this,
Why did the agents disappear? Let's talk about yours. You can't speak for UDP. Were they bought over? Were they intimidated?
Some agents were bought over. Mine were fooled. They told them, Esafal was paid $1,500 per agent. He gave you 200. And the kids, these young people, they got angry and left.
Oh.
And I have an audio here where they were looking for the agents of Esafal and agents of UDP. I have the audio.
Okay.
In 2021, it's still here.
Well, you've learned from that. Let's go back to the 75% claim of the president, which you think is not based on any solid ground.
Look, apart from Jammeh in, was it 2004 or so, that elections when he won by a landslide, it has never happened in
Was
Gambia.
it because of the opposition boycott? Because he literally stood alone.
Yes. So apart from that, there's never been any election in Gambia where a candidate would score that.
But
so,
he's a record breaker, so we may be heading towards another record breaking.
Well, he's not a record breaker, really. What records has he broken?
Well, he's the first Gambian to democratically unseat an incumbent president.
But this is the first. That was the. Well, okay.
That will go into the history books as belonging to Adama Barrow.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But it's not Adama Barrow's efforts. This is the Gambian people coming together to say no to a government that was deemed to be highly undemocratic, dictatorial, and a massive violator of rights. And that is the only reason. Let me tell you, in 2016, even if you would have had a non-entity, if we would have had a non-entity, that non-entity would have won against Jammeh. So it is not surprising that Adama Barrow won, because remember also that election happened within a particular context. The Gambian people were revolting against Jammeh for some of the terrible things that he said, like calling for almost what one can describe as a genocide against the Mandinkas. I am one of those who crafted and signed a petition against Jammeh and sent the petition to the UN, to the Secretary General Special Rapporteur for genocide. That is Adama Dieng. Because we all were horrified by what Jammeh said. Those were the days when all of us would say, I am Mandinka. Because we do not believe that in our country there should be such tribal bigotry that any particular group in this country would be targeted in that way. And who was at the heart of that?
Who was?
Well, a current so-called presidential advisor. You know, it's a terrible thing, these things.
At the heart of what? Let's be clear.
At the heart of those Jammeh bigotries.
Insulting Mandinkas.
Insulting Mandinkas. You see, that's why the Barrow government is worse than the Jammeh government. Yeah. Because it's got all the Jammeh operatives in the government and even more. Yeah. So that's why we must do something to remove this Barrow government. If he thinks...
And just going back to that, and don't forget that Jammeh also insulted Christians. Nobody stood up for us. We stood up for ourselves.
Except also...
One of the most daring acts of public, pushback against him was when we, gathered at the Independence Stadium and said our prayers.
And that was wonderful. That was an eloquent response to bigotry. That was a brilliant response. But also, not only you, SFL stood at the TRRC and defended the right of people to espouse to any faith that they want. So that is something else that we share. Every Gambian should have a right, to worship. There has to be freedom of worship, freedom of religion. You cannot force people to share your views. And Peter, you see, this is an important issue. Let me just not skirt over it. Yeah. People are attacking me that I insulted their Imam Fati. People are saying that. But I never did. I just had a disagreement with him as to whether certain people should be attacked for their beliefs or not.
Was this from the TRRC?
That was from the TRRC.
Conversations.
But let me say to the Gambian people, for those who thought that maybe I insulted their religious leaders or whatever, I am sorry and I apologize for that. But not that I did it I apologize for the fact that I might have said things that hurt you. It was never my purpose to go and hurt anybody. But billahi wal kitabi, if I am given another opportunity to defend the religious rights of other people, I will do it again. Maybe I would be more respectful, be more differential, but I will do it because these are the values that I have. These are the values of our constitution. This is the foundation of our democracy. Nobody should be above the law. And every individual, be you imam or bishop, whatever you are, you have a responsibility to respect the religious rights of other people. Lakum dinikum waliya dini is not in the Quran for anything or for decoration. This is a fundamental pillar. For those who are very learned in the Quran, they should study the Al-Sahifa, which was the first real discussion in Islam of the concept of lakum dinikum waliya dini, and it is something that I fundamentally believe in, and I will do it again. For those who think that I might have insulted their imam, I did not. But the fact that you believe it, I am sorry, because I don't want people feeling angry. But I did not do it. I did my job. I did my duty, which was to fight for the rights of minorities, the right to fight for the constitution of the Gambia, and that is the only thing that could keep the peace in this country. And that is why I am also asking to be head of state in this country. And if I become one, let every Gambian be assured that Mr. Fall would be fair and just to all peoples of this country. I say peoples, because we have different faiths, we have different...
As it says in the national anthem.
As it's in the national anthem.
Different tribes, the different religious, creeds, and so on and so forth. Some people don't know why the people has an S. Yes, we are one people, yes.
Yes, but we are diverse people.
Within this one people, you also have peoples.
Exactly. That's why one of our most important slogans for APP Sobea is united for a better Gambia. And Gambian people, let me assure you that if I am given the reins of power in this country, I would be the one to unite this country. Because I know what it feels to be a minority in this country. I know what it feels to speak a language that the majority do not speak. I know how it feels. Be rest assured also that I know how it is like to be in the majority and bulldoze your views. But we are one people. Our strength in Gambia is we one people. Brother, I grew up in a home in Gambia which had 2 gates. People from everywhere would come into that home. Be you Paul, Jola, Sarahule, Mandinka, Manjako, whatever, all of them would converge in that house. When it's time for lunch, my grandmother would come and put 2-3 bowls. You don't know who is sitting around those bowls eating. Sometimes you sit and the hand would come from nowhere, above you, into the bowl. You don't even know who's who. That is how united we were in Gambia. My grandmother would wake me up in the morning. Isa Jogal. I'll wake up and she would send me to Harris Kunda at Combo Street. I'll go and buy bread and all that. And she would make omelette and send me to the hospital. We would be delivering breakfast to people who have no relatives in Banjul. This is how Gambia was. This is how united we were. My grandfather walked all over the provinces building wharves in Gambia. He had 3 Mandinka wives. My aunts are Mandinkas. Okay? And the unity that happened between, say, people from the urban areas and people from the provinces was unbelievable. The bond was very strong. Here we sit and people talk about tribalism and all. I will unite Gambia. I will bring back those old days when people were united for the love of humanity, for the love of your neighbor. That is the Gambia I want to bring back, because that is the Gambia I grew up in. That is the Gambia that I know. And trust me, my brother, there is no hatred between Fula and Jola, or Manjago and Sarahule, or Wolof and Sose. No, that is not Gambia. We are all united. Trust me, it's only in politics that people try to bring disunity, because they think that by bringing disunity, by bringing in this tribal card, it enhances their chances of winning. The Gambian people are rising above that. The tribal card would no longer work in this country. Gambian people are fed up about that. We don't want it. Nobody wants it. The Mandinkas don't want tribalism. The Jolas don't want tribalism. The Wolof don't want tribalism. There is no ethnic group in this country that wants tribalism. It is us politicians who drive that tribalism. It is us who drive that wedge between the people.
And the people that follow you politicians down this path, you just have to look at their level of intellect to tell you why they are the ones, and it's not the likes of Peter Gomez and the Hussein Nudabos and the others that follow you down that path.
That is and that is why it is us politicians who should clean our act. That is why also the Gambian people should look to politicians who try to reinforce the things that unite us, instead of following those politicians who look to the things that divide us. Because there is no benefit to us being divided. So I will encourage unity in Gambian people. I would encourage reconciliation. And let me tell you something, Peter.
I was just about to close out this because what brought us here is Barrow's claim that he's aiming for 75% in 2026. And he was simply saying that it was only Yahya Jammeh that came close, and that was on account of boycotts, because people had really got sick and tired of Jammeh for attacking people left, right, and center, whether you were Christian or Mandinka or a witch, because he went after those, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But for this claim by Barrow, I think he's just playing political mind games. If you look at the empirical record, it's not born out of that. 2021, 53%. Afrobarometer survey, in May 2024, he came down to 27%. So he's in fact lost half, near half, that is about 49%.
Well, of course, that was vehemently dismissed by the government.
But okay, dismissed by who in the government? It is that spokesperson who really claimed that Afrobarometer was independent and has an impeccable record and it was the best in this business. That is when he was in the opposition. But when the bread on his table is now being placed there by this government that he serves, he changed, he metamorphosed.
And understandably, he's not in opposition anymore.
But so do you want us to take his statement as a credible statement, or to take it with a pinch of salt? This is not even with a pinch. This is with a handful of salt. It is political machinations, propaganda, spinning, misinformation, call it whatever you want.
Esam Baifal is saying there will be no 75% winning margin in 2026.
Peter, I am telling you, if Barrow runs, he will not score 25%.
Why are you saying if? That is guaranteed. He's going to run.
Peter, I am telling you, Barrow is scared.
Okay.
Barrow is very,
he may be scared, but he will run in 2026.
I doubt Barrow would run in 2026.
You doubt?
I doubt it.
Wow.
If he runs, he will not score 25%. And let me tell you, between 2024, May, and July 2025, has Barrow gotten more popular in your view?
Now I'm asking the questions here. You wait until I meet you at another TRRC to ask questions.
Well, let me answer the question. I can assure you that he's become much less popular now than before, because now he has really come across to the Gambian people as a promoter. I'm just saying this is my opinion, and which I am entitled to. Nobody can stop me from having an opinion. he said things that suggest that he is promoting corruption.
Oh.
He said things that suggest that he is in fact protecting those in his government that are involved in corruption.
Things like
this
what,
is my opinion.
Things like what? Promoting corruption?
Like corruption, mamlafi. It's been here for a long time. You can never remove it.
Yeah, but that's a fact. Corruption is as old as humanity.
But for a president of a country, if you would say that, the corrupt officials would feel more comfortable.
Okay.
All right?
I can't argue on that with you on that point.
Exactly.